Beauty and the Beast by Jeanne-Marie Leprince de Beaumont. Once upon a time, in a faraway land, there lived a wealthy merchant who had 3 daughters. The youngest was so beautiful that everyone called her Beauty. She was as lovely in character as she was in appearance, always kind and gentle. Her sisters, on the other hand, were spoiled and selfish, always thinking of themselves and looking down on Beauty for her simple ways. The merchant was very rich, and his daughters lived in luxury. They had everything they could wish for, and the 2 older sisters were always dressed in the finest clothes and jewels. Beauty, however, preferred to wear simple gowns and spent her time reading books and helping others. One day the merchant lost all his wealth when his ships were caught in a terrible storm and sank. He and his daughters were forced to leave their grand house in the city and move to a small cottage in the countryside. The older sisters were very upset by this and did nothing but complain about their new life, but Beauty accepted their misfortune with grace and tried to make the best of it. She worked hard every day, tending the garden and cooking meals, while her sisters did nothing but sulk. One day the merchant received news that one of his ships had miraculously survived the storm and had returned to port with valuable goods. Overjoyed, he decided to go to the city and see if he could reclaim some of his fortune. Before he left, he asked his daughters what they would like him to bring back as a gift. The 2 older sisters demanded fine dresses and jewels, but Beauty simply asked for a single rose, as there were no roses in their garden. The merchant set off on his journey, but when he arrived in the city, he found that his ship's cargo had been seized to pay off his debts. He returned home as poor as he had left. On his way back, he became lost in a deep forest, and as night fell, he stumbled upon a grand castle. Desperate for shelter, he approached the castle and found the door open. He entered, calling out for help, but no one answered. Inside, he found a table set with a delicious meal, and overcome by hunger, he ate and drank his fill. Afterward, he found a comfortable bed and decided to stay the night. The next morning, as he was about to leave, the merchant saw a beautiful rose garden outside the castle. Remembering Beauty's request, he plucked a single rose to take home to her. As he did so, a terrible roar shook the ground, and a fearsome beast appeared before him. "How dare you steal my roses?" the beast growled. "You have eaten my food, slept in my bed, and now you take my most prized possession. For this you must die." The merchant begged for his life, explaining that he had only taken the rose for his youngest daughter. The beast paused and then spoke. "I will spare your life, but only if you send your daughter Beauty to live with me here in the castle. If she does not come willingly, you must return and face your punishment." Terrified, the merchant agreed and returned home with the rose. When he told his daughters what had happened, the older sisters were delighted that Beauty would be taken away, but Beauty herself was horrified. Despite her fear, she loved her father dearly and could not bear the thought of him dying because of her. So, she bravely decided to go to the beast's castle. When Beauty arrived at the castle, she was surprised to find that, instead of being a prisoner, she was treated like a queen. She had beautiful rooms, fine clothes, and delicious food. Every evening, the beast would join her for dinner, and though his appearance was terrifying, he was always kind and gentle to her. Over time, Beauty grew accustomed to the beast and began to enjoy his company. They would talk for hours, and she realized that, despite his frightening exterior, he had a good heart. Every night before they parted, the beast would ask Beauty the same question. "Beauty, will you marry me?" And every night Beauty would gently refuse, saying, "You are kind and dear to me, but I cannot marry you." Though the beast was saddened by her answer, he never forced her, and they continued their companionship. One day Beauty asked the beast if she could visit her father, as she had not seen him for many months and was worried about him. The beast agreed but made her promise that she would return in a week. Beauty was overjoyed and thanked the beast before hurrying back to her family's cottage. Her father was overjoyed to see her and wept with happiness. Beauty's sisters, on the other hand, were jealous of the fine clothes and jewels she wore and the tales of the luxurious life she led at the Beast's castle. They plotted to keep her from returning, hoping that the Beast would become angry and harm her. They begged her to stay longer, and Beauty, moved by their apparent love and concern, agreed to stay for just one more day. But as the days passed, Beauty forgot her promise to the Beast. Then, one night, she had a terrible dream. She saw the Beast lying in the rose garden, pale and still as if he were dying. She awoke with a start, remembering her promise and feeling deep guilt. Without delay, she returned to the castle. When Beauty arrived, she found the Beast lying in the garden, just as she had seen in her dream. She ran to him and cradled his head in her lap, crying, "Oh, Beast, what have I done? I was so foolish to stay away. Please don't die. I love you, Beast, I love you." At her words, the Beast's eyes opened and a radiant light surrounded him. Before her very eyes, the Beast transformed into a handsome prince. Beauty was astonished, and the prince explained, "A wicked fairy cursed me long ago, turning me into a beast, and only the love of a kind and true-hearted maiden could break the spell. You, Beauty, have broken the curse with your love." Beauty and the prince returned to her father's cottage, where they were joyfully reunited with her family. The prince and Beauty were married, and they lived happily ever after in the grand castle, surrounded by roses and love. If you enjoyed this story, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more magical tales. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss an adventure. Have a great day, and see you in the next story.